Blog Talk Radio.
We're playing tunes that make you grin. Our music's better than it's ever been. So think of us when you need a show. We're at WIRN Intercom Radio.
I'm going to a panty party and get liquored up. I'm going to a panty party and get liquored up. I'm going to a panty party and get liquored up. I'm going to a panty party and get liquored up. Panty party, liquored up. I'm going to my mama's house and get liquored up. I'm going to my mama's house and get liquored up. I'm going to my mama's house and get liquored up. I'm going to my mama's house and get liquored up. Mama's house, liquored up. I ain't lying. Come on, Donnie, let's get liquored up.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Paige Roberts Show. It is Tuesday, July the 25th, 2017. Tonight's show launches that of many shows all summer long. Paige Roberts Show, which is on Blog Talk Radio, Intercom Radio Network. Tonight we are debuting the Reverend Connor Mack. And I have on the phone with me the Reverend Connor Mack, which is the vocal, should I say, of the Reverend Connor Mack Tribble and the Deacons. Connor, are you on the line with me? How are you doing? Welcome to the show.
I certainly am. I want to thank you, first of all, for inviting me to be on your show. And this is absolutely marvelous experience for me. I can't thank you enough.
Awesome. Thank you, Connor. We also want to give a shout-out to Misty Alfonso, Duckcloud Productions, who is making all this possible for us. So we are really excited. We are really excited that we are getting a chance. I haven't even really thought about bringing in my local Athens musicians, but here we are.
Well, I'm very honored to be on your show.
Now, Connor, usually the way I start things off is I usually get my my artists to start off by just telling us a little bit about themselves. Now, you can start wherever you want to. You can go all the way back or just start wherever you like.
Well, let me tell you, first of all, this is a wonderful experience for me. I'm lying here naked in my bed at my villa, looking out the window on my veranda, seeing the little woodland creatures, and I'm on your wonderful show all at the same time. It's an absolutely wonderful experience. I've been alive a long time, and this is just tons of fun. I just want to tell you that. And, again, thank you so much for having me on your show. You asked me to tell you about myself. It's very simple. When I was a little boy and all the other children were outside playing ball, I never really got into that. That didn't seem very exciting or adventurous to me. It still doesn't. Even now, if I have any time to kill or free time, I would rather spend it with a very nice lady instead of watching people toss balls at each other, but, whatever floats your boat. But back then, I really didn't enjoy it, so I pretended to either be Peter Pan or Tarzan. And my mother would let me make a Tarzan house or a Peter Pan house in a part of our home, parsonage actually, because my dad was a Methodist minister. And that's what I did until 1962 or 3. Then James Bond became popular, and I started pretending to be James Bond. Then on February 9th, 1964, when the Beatles were on Ed Sullivan for the first time, I decided I wanted to be a Beatle. So I started pretending to be a Beatle, and that's what I've been doing ever since. Pretty much.
Right, go ahead.
That's pretty much it. And I just have been very lucky and been a professional musician all my life until I moved back down here from New York, and I'm working also at Publix, which has turned into a whole new, brand new adventure that I'm having a marvelous time with. And at one point in New York City, I also pretended to be Jim Morrison. And things got a little out of hand, but I'm not pretending to be Jim Morrison anymore. I'm just good old Reverend Tribble, and I play with my deacons and run the cash register at Publix, and I've never been happier.
Well, that's all that matters, right? That's life.
Absolutely.
Now, any influences with your music growing up?
Sure.
Who were your
Absolutely. Of course, Elvis before I was very young, but you hear this a lot, but of course they say I used to stand in front of the television. I would only have been 2 or 3 when Elvis was on TV at the very start of his career and try to act like him. And then, of course, the Beatles came along, and like everyone else in the world, I was influenced by the Beatles. And I pretty much just like one type of group or something, and I just stuck with the Beatles until they broke up. And then my friend Keith Strickland, who ended up being in the B-52s, I was living here in Athens, pointed out how cool the Rolling Stones are and were. So I really got into the Stones, and of course I was into Bob Dylan. And that's about it. Those guys really shaped me. And then later I got into Jim Morrison, and of course I love the Sex Pistols. And later I got into jazz. I actually had the pleasure of knowing the greatest bass player who ever lived, Jaco Pastorius, in New York City. And after he sadly passed away, I really got into his music and got into jazz and Miles Davis and John Coltrane and all the greats. And even though I'm a rock and roll player, and there's no way I could ever play that type of music, it still influenced me just by its emotion and its depth. And I just love good old rock and roll. Oh, how can I be so remiss? Of course, Chuck Berry, Little Richard, Fats Domino, all those great, just the same people that all musicians my age were influenced by. Just for me, there's nothing better than a good old three-chord rock and roll boogie-woogie song, and that's what I love to play and what most of my songs that I write are like.
Now I want to go back a little bit, and I want to go back as far as even like 10 years old, because I was reading that you had already played in a show with the legend Jerry Lee Lewis. How was that? That was amazing.
I'll tell you, I was very lucky because back then I was playing drums. I started out as a drummer. And we were in a small town in Georgia, Appworth actually. And even though I was only 9 years old, I got into a band with the rest of the guys who were like 15 and 16, which was great because a 10-year-old can't go play in a band around town. There's a bunch of 10-year-olds. So I was very lucky. And we played, and those were my first real paid gigs. And we played all around. Back then, you played on people's carports for parties. You played at the sock hop, at the sock hops in the gymnasium after the ball games, and an occasional restaurant. And my dad, again, was a Methodist minister, and we moved every 4 years. And so I found out we were going to have to move to Calhoun, Georgia, which is a lovely town, but I was devastated because I thought there was no way on earth I'll ever get into a band with older guys again. It was like a miracle. However, the minute we moved there, it was a big deal. Jerry Lee Lewis was going to come to town and play in the Calhoun High School auditorium. It was obviously he had a resurgence because, of course, he'd been big in the 50s, but because of a show called Shindig, it was popular there in the mid-60s on TV. He had been playing on that, and he had a resurgence again in popularity. So it was a very, very big deal. And everybody in town was talking about it. And I'll never forget, I was standing there in the kitchen in our parsonage, and someone called, and my mom handed me the phone. And a gentleman said, I'm in a band called the N Men. We're playing in the show with Jerry Lee Lewis this coming Friday, whatever it was. And something had happened to their drummer. And why they called a 10-year-old kid, I don't know, or how they even, I'd only been in town for a week. And how that happened, I don't know. But he did, and I started crying. And in fact, I'm getting teary-eyed thinking about it now. And that was 50 years ago. Anyway, I turned to my mother, and I said, they want me to play in the show with Jerry Lee Lewis. And she said, what? And she got on the phone with a guy. And it was true. And my mom said, we're going to call you back. And she turned to me and she said, if you're going to do this, you've got to rehearse with these guys. And I'm going to go with you. And I want to see how you sound because I don't want you to make a fool of yourself. so she went with me out to Red Bud Gymnasium outside of Calhoun in the hill on the stage. No one else was there. It was at night. And I rehearsed with the N Men, and a few days later, we opened the show for Jerry Lee Lewis at the Calhoun High Auditorium. And, yes, it was quite an experience, and it was one of the greatest times of my life. I've been very fortunate in that area.
Now, was this, because I'm thinking back that far, but you know how memory goes. Now, was this around the time that he was becoming popular and everything, too?
That was his big heyday was in the 50s. And then he had a falling out with the public because he married his 14-year-old cousin. Oh, and that stopped his career for a while. And, again, he got popular again in the 60s just from that show Shindig, and he started playing. He got popular again. He was a big deal. He was there. I mean, it was a very big deal. And of course, he without a doubt is a rock and roll legend. He is one of the what they call the Golden Quartet that include Elvis and Johnny Cash and Carl Perkins and Jerry Lee Lewis. So that was a big deal for me.
I can see why that would be. I remember all of them, not seeing them, but, listening to our radio and TV and them, all of them playing together on the Grand Ole Opry stage. And, wow, and it brings back memories.
Yeah, they just, for me and everyone from my generation and throughout history, that definitely, those guys, just nothing like them. Got good old rock and roll, and like I said a moment ago, for me, just give me a good old rock and roll song, and that's all I ever do, and it makes me happy. So that was a very big night in my life, yes, ma'am. And I do sing Jerry Lewis's songs to this day.
Awesome. Now, okay, so now we've moved to Georgia. Now, what point did we decide that New York is on our agenda?
Well, my friends, the B-52s, they got very popular here in Athens, and they started going to New York. And, the B-52s, what makes a band great to me is there's so many bands, and when you hear a band and that's who that is, and they were just so unique. Fred's wonderful, cool singing, and Cindy and Kate's amazing singing and harmonies, and at that time, Keith's marvelous drumming, and, of course, Ricky, the guitar player who very, very sadly passed away. They were so special, and they went to New York, and that's how they started really getting famous and getting signed. So I wanted to go to New York and have that happen to me, but the difference was they were very unique and fantastic, and back then I was not unique nor fantastic, but I did go to New York, and that's the reason I wanted to go there. And I did have a lot of great adventures, and I did make a living playing music, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. And what it did do for me, it toughened me up, because to be a professional musician in New York City, you have to do something to make people watch you. You got to put on a show. And you may not be the greatest singer or the greatest guitar player or the greatest songwriter, but you have to do something, because these people are paying a lot of money, and to make a living doing that. So that's why I went to New York, in hopes of fame and fortune and women and wildness and rock and roll.
Well, you had a good group behind you, because if you mention the B-52s to anybody, it's like, oh, I know them, I know of them, I've heard them. And so I just think it's surreal to have people like that has come out of I say our little town. We're not so little anymore.
Well, they were the first ones. Anyone would have to agree. There's been so many wonderful bands. I could go on and on, but they really broke it, and they were just tremendous. And let me just say this while we're talking about them. When I moved back down here from New York, I can't believe it's been 4 years ago, and of course I had a handful of friends who remembered me, but it was very hard trying to get going in this town. And I hope it's okay that I say this, but the only club that would give me a steady job was a place called the Office Lounge. And a wonderful lady named Bridget gave me my first steady gig. And I hope she's listening or hears this, because I'll never, ever be able to thank her enough. And one night, I was doing my little solo show there, and here comes Cindy Wilson of the B-52s, and I hadn't seen her, I guess it had been 40 years. I really can't remember. And I was flabbergasted, and I couldn't believe it. It was on a very, very cold, icy February night. And I just couldn't believe she was there. And then she asked me if I wanted to play in a project with her and play in the Georgia Theater. And after trying to keep from fainting, I said, sure, yes, please. So I just want to thank Cindy for that, and also Bridget, because they both just amazing people. And of all the great musicians in Athens that Cindy could have asked, the fact that she asked me to play, it was her band called Ola Moon, and we played at the Georgia Theater, and it was quite an experience. And then about a year later, the same band played at Chastain Park, and this time Fred Schneider played with us, and they performed Love Shack. And I'll tell you, to be on stage with Fred and Cindy singing Love Shack at Chastain Park.
Yeah. That's like major artist star.
Yeah, it was really something. And again, all those folks have been so incredibly gracious and kind to me, and it really helped me try to get a foothold here in Athens, Georgia, where there are so many great musicians, and it's I just will forever be, indebted to them. I just wanted to say that.
Well, like I said, and I have been trying. I don't know if this is something to read into, but I say we don't meet people by accident. They're putting their lives at that time and place for us, and so I don't take it for granted. And me having my show out here like this, and y'all, I was so hoping that I can probably get her to call in tonight, but I know she's probably busy with her own stuff, but it's all good.
It is, and let me tell you, as I've gotten older, there's those phrases like things happen for a reason, or things happen like they're supposed to, or destiny, or fate, or God's will, or whatever you want to call it. But let me just tell you the story very briefly. The night Cindy Wilson came into the office, I was supposed to be, I have to say this, because there's a gentleman named Larry Freeman, and he asked me to play in his band when I moved back down here, in his band called The Backups. And he helped me out so much also. And I was supposed to be playing with them that night, but there was an ice storm, and we were supposed to play in Statesboro. But we couldn't play because of the storm. So that's why I was at the office that night when Cindy Wilson came in. So you can say that's circumstance, you can say that's the way it was supposed to pan out. But, yes, I think about things like that an awful lot. You can call it luck, whatever you want to, but I tend to agree with you on that one.
Yeah, and that's how I roll too. If you walk that way, then that's what does happen. Now, okay, so now we're in Athens, Georgia, and I know it takes a little time for things like this to be in the works or in the makings and everything. But here you are now. What is what is up for you next? Is there anything that you want to do that you haven't done? Do we call it our bucket list?
Nope. I want to tell you very honestly, there is not one thing I have not done that I want to do. I've been so fortunate in my life. And when I was in New York, I'll be very honest with you, I lived a wild, insane rock and roll lifestyle for my majority of my time up there. It was as wild and insane as anyone could live it. And I'm glad I lived it, because it makes me, in my gut, I know I'm a real rock and roll singer. Because for me, personally, and I'm speaking just about me, that's the way I had to live like that, to play like I do, and to have what's in my brain. And all those nights and nights of playing 5 hours a night, all the time. And let me say this too, people at the Cafe Wah, I played there, and a gentleman named Noam Gorman hired me to play there. And he was instrumental in guiding my career just as a friend and let me play there. And then 3 other gentlemen, when they took over, the names were Ronnie, Near, and Oprah. And they were so sweet. But Nolan was also a performer, and he ran the band. I just have to say his name because he really helped me, and I wouldn't have what I have in my life if it were not for him. So to answer your question, there's not a thing I want. I don't want to tour anymore. I don't want to travel. I played with Cindy and Fred, as I said, with the B-52s. I played in the show not too long after I moved down here with Robbie Krieger of The Doors in Hollywood with a Cafe Wah band. That was an amazing experience. And now I am very, very happy at the age of 62 to be a cashier at Publix. Everybody treats me so nice. And the songwriting material, the ideas for songs over there are off the chart. It's just crazy how many songs I'm writing now from all the stories I hear from the people who come down my line at my checkout counter. And I love playing with the Deacons, and I have nothing to prove. I love my band. I love my job at Publix. Everyone in Athens is so sweet. Wonderful people like you are inviting me to be on your show, and I just am completely blessed, and I'm just, the rest of my life is like a hot fudge sundae.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, let's talk about your venue, because I know you play in quite a few shows here in Athens, Georgia. You want to go over your venue list?
I beg your pardon?
Your venue list from where you're going to be playing?
Am I allowed? Yes, ma'am. If I can advertise, yes. We have several big shows coming up. We're playing Saturday night. Let's see, what day is this? This is Tuesday. Okay. We're playing this coming Saturday night. That's July the 29th at the Office Lounge here in Athens. Then on Wednesday night, that is August the 2nd, we are playing at the Nowhere Bar, downtown Athens, at 9 o'clock. And then on August the 4th, that's the Friday of next week, we're playing on the rooftop of the Georgia Theater at 7:30. So we hope, y'all come on down and we'll rock and roll and go crazy.
I might have to start getting out. I'm losing a lot of ground staying hemmed up in here, I guess.
We should come out. We always promise a great show, I can tell you that.
I know you do. I have heard. Now, let's talk about Duckcloud Productions. Now, I know that you are part of the Players as a Liar, and through Vega Studios here in Athens, Georgia, are putting that together, and as part of our summer shows as well with Misty Alfonso. Let's talk about that for a minute, because I think this is one of the great things that brings us, people like me, and musicians and people like that around this town to do great things. And, you know, I know most of my musicians that have been on my show has things or ways that they give back to the people, and I just think this is one of those.
Let me tell you.
What kind of question is that?
It's really wonderful because in New York City you just didn't have stuff like this. It was because for the first time in my life, I really feel like I'm part of a wonderful community, not just the music community, but the community itself. And Athens is a wonderful, wonderful place. And it really is very special to me because in New York, I'll be very honest with you, I was just known as this crazy, drunken, rock and roll clown. And people did enjoy seeing me play, but I don't think too many people would have asked me to, play at benefits and things. And since I've been back down here, it's wonderful the way the community comes together. And I just want to say Misty Alfonso is such an amazing person. And I am just astounded by her tireless work for the various causes that she believes in. I've never seen anyone work as hard as she does. Mm-hmm. And I'm just proud to know her. And whenever she calls me up, and asked me to do anything, I would do anything for her. And I'm just proud to be a part of anything she's a part of. I just want to say that.
That's awesome. Yeah. When she approached me, it's not that I didn't have my doubts, but I guess just me as an individual and as a radio host, I wanted to bring, and not the best, but I do like to give back to the community, and I do like to help those like that. And I just think it's a wonderful thing of the things that she's doing through the, I hope I get this right, through the American Cancer Society, and that's through Georgia. So, and she'll be coming on here in a few minutes, and we'll finish out the show at around 9:30. So, yeah, I know she stays busy just like I do. Excuse me. And we do appreciate her. And like I said, I'm just like that too, because I know it's an ongoing thing, and I know I stay busy. I know you do too.
Well, I was again just so struck. She is so, I can't believe how hard she works. But there's so many wonderful organizations in town, and I'm just very honored that she asked me to be a part of anything she does. And because of her, I've met so many wonderful people. And again, what you said about giving something back, it's exactly what it is, because people come to hear you play, and people say wonderful things about you. And I'll tell you something I've learned. I say this to people all the time. Something I learned about working at Publix, because I see hundreds of people every day when I'm bringing up their groceries. And you're supposed to say, how are you doing? But I'm very sincere. I'm sure all of us are. And people will tell you exactly how they're doing. And so many people are, as you well know, everybody does, are dealing with just so many hardships and really horrific things going on in their lives. And one thing it's done for me is make me realize how incredibly blessed I am. And it makes me stop, whining about silly things, whatever it may be, that I used to get bent out of shape about. That just absolutely makes no difference whatsoever, compared to what so many people are dealing with. And someone like Misty comes along and goes out and really helps people. And I just think that's tremendous. It really is.
It is. And, I think about this all the time. Isn't it awesome that you're there, I'm here, and I said, I know this is where I'm supposed to be at, and I just think it's so awesome that I know that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. A lot of times I wasn't like that, but I just think it's awesome. I said, I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So, and that's another way, to look at things and the way things go.
Can I comment on that? Because I want to say that too. I'm glad you brought that up. Because, as I've told you, I spent I was in New York City most of my life trying to get famous and be a big rock star. And I thought, that's what I want. And I just, that's all I thought about. That's all I did. Even when I was partying like crazy and doing all that stuff, I still, was working very hard. And I did get signed to a record deal and worked very hard. But something, I don't know how to explain it. But now, I'm glad you brought this up, by the way. I just said that. I never dreamed this. But here at my age, I know, just like you said, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. I would never have thought that I would say that I'm supposed to be a cashier at Publix in a grocery store. But I'll tell you, I know in my heart it's exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. I see these wonderful people every day, and the folks at Publix come to hear me sing. The folks who come hear me sing come to Publix to see me there, and it's like a big family. It's crazy. And I am really, I'll have to use the word content. And I am very happy to do what I'm doing until the good Lord calls me home. And you asked me earlier if I, wanted to do anything, I'm glad you brought it up. I've said that 10 times, but I am, because it's just, you're very lucky to have that feeling.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people don't, and they can go through their whole lives not having the feeling of this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, and not wishing they were doing something else, or why didn't my life go like this or go like that, and that's so sad. And yes, I'm very blessed, and it sounds like you're very blessed too.
It is, and I am, and I say that all the time, and the people, I don't know what to say to people that do things like that they don't know what their place is in life right now. But if I wanted to get back and say something about that, I don't know how they would come up from that and knowing where they fit in the world. But it's like I tell everybody else, like I said earlier too, we don't meet by accident.
No, I don't think so either. It's things happen in your life, and as I said earlier, if you want to call it coincidence or luck or whatever it is, and maybe it is just coincidence, I don't know, but since I've been back in Athens, there have been so many things, just people I've met and occurrences, and it's really been off the chart. I always put it this way: if it's not destiny or whatever it is, I've been extremely lucky, and I know it. And I just feel so incredibly blessed. I can't say it enough. It's just I think about it all the time.
The people you meet, and that's what I'm saying too. It's just like everybody is so nice to you, and they bring you in, and it's like you and I here. I mean, I just think it's surreal, and I'm an easygoing person too, and I know you are too. I can tell. So I don't like to say judge of character, but I can read people pretty good. But I just think it's surreal that all these people, and we just have so many people on our side through this radio show. I mean, we have producers, we have songwriters, we have management, and see all these people it does take to put this show together, and that's how I like to give back. So if you haven't been signed with anyone, if you haven't gotten management, I know it costs money to do those things, but that's how we connect people. And like I said, I just think it's so real.
It's very special, and I am glad that I don't rely on the music to make a living now, because it frees me up to have the job at Publix to, do a lot of things I want to do. I don't worry about how many shows I'm playing or things like that, or the money and all that. And I've never, to be honest with you, I didn't get into it for the money. I just, I like to perform. I like to write a song and get up and play it. And that makes me happy. There's not one thing on earth I've ever wanted to buy. As long as I have a guitar and I can eat and buy gas and pay my rent, there's not a thing. I like to just play, and of course, but you have to make a living, of course. So again, the thing is, Publix helps me to be able to, frees me up to do what I want to musically,
Yes, it does, and I think that's something to say about that too, and that's what I was talking about, that it gives you where where you're at and where you're going in life, and that's how you know that it's where you're supposed to be at. So,
yep.
If
I completely agree with you.
You have that free time, so that should tell you something there too.
It does. It's just again, I'm in a wonderful spot in my life, and I couldn't be happier.
Now I have somebody on the line. I hear somebody in the background. So let's see, 706-870-711 caller. Do you have anything you want to ask?
What? Hello?
Hello?
Who have I got on
Are you
the
talking
line?
to me?
Yes, I am talking to you.
Hi, it's Paula. Hi, Connor.
Hello, is this Misty?
I didn't know. No, it's Paula from the
Paula.
office. Moon Dance.
Oh, hello, Paula. How are you?
Okay, I'm just listening to this show. I had no idea anybody knew I was listening to the show. Kind of odd, because my phone number just showed up there. But I'm listening to you over the phone, and I'm enjoying this very much.
Well, Paula, you are so sweet.
Well, you are too. And I can't say enough good things about you and the Deacons. You make everybody so happy. Everyone that dances, goes and dances at your shows, I mean, everybody has a smile on their face. My cheeks hurt from smiling so much after a night of listening to you guys and dancing. So it's always a good time.
Well, let me say, Paige, Paula comes out from the very beginning. She's come out to all my shows, solo shows, shows of the Deacons, anything I do. And Paula, let me say right here in front of everyone, I just love you so much, and you have no idea how much I appreciate your non-ending support. You're just a wonderful, wonderful person. It means so much to me. I just want to tell you that right here on live radio.
Wow. Yeah, thank you. And you mean a lot to me and to everybody else, a lot of other people in this town.
Well, thank you, honey. I appreciate it.
And we're lucky that you came back here.
Okay.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Let me tell you, it makes me cry. Everyone is just so kind to me, and it's I kind of walk around in a daze. I go, what? I really can't believe it, and I'm being very, very honest. It's just such a different thing for me, and as I've said 20 times on the show already, I'm just blessed. But I think about it all the time, Paige. I do. I really, really do. I just, how can you help but not think about it?
I know, I do too. I mean, every day I'm wondering. Now, sometimes I go back and say, am I really supposed to be doing radio? I was saying this morning to myself. Am I really, really supposed to be doing this? But I'm here, so. And I think we're in a good spot. I think we're in a good spot because I think online radio is the future. That's the wave of the future, and I think that's where everybody's going to is to online radio. So I think we're in a good spot.
Well, I just, again, want to thank you for having me on here. I'm really enjoying it, and honored to have been, lead off one, and it's just very special. And I love what you're doing. And, of course, I'll be listening from now on.
Awesome. Yeah, because we have a lot of lineups coming up, and I think I have Misty Alfonso on the line. Misty, are you here with me?
Hello. Hey, Connor.
Hello, Misty. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm so glad to hear your happy voice here on Blog Talk Radio.
I don't know if you heard, but I just was singing your praises. I want to say right here on the radio how amazing you are, and I've told you over and over and over, the amazing work you do is just astounding to me. I've never met anyone who works as tirelessly as you do for what you believe in and helping people, and I just love you to death. I just want to say that right here on the radio, Misty.
Oh, you're so sweet, and I love you back. You know that. We go back, and I'm so happy that you're on the show and meeting Paige. And I just want to say, too, and since this is the Mutual Admiration Society tonight, right, I love you so much. And, Paige, thank you so much for letting him be the leadoff hitter for the Athens players. I really appreciate it. And, Connor, I can say, honestly, I've been listening. I've never met a Beatle. I've never met Jim Morrison. I've never met Bob Dylan. But I can honestly say that my life is complete for having met you. Now, I know that sounds ridiculously overrated, but you, honestly, when I started Duckcloud and our very first project, you were on, of course, you had a huge part, you with Jacqueline on Players Flyer. And you're going to be doing our upcoming Halloween show, The Legends. This guy that you're listening to, you guys, is going to be playing Elvis in our Halloween show here in Athens. And that's to benefit the American Cancer Society also. And, again, anytime I call up Connor and I say, Connor, I really need your help. I never have to ask twice, ever. He's always there, and I appreciate it very much.
Honey, well, I said earlier I would do anything on earth for you. I just think you're amazing, and I can't say enough.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
This is awesome. Yeah, I wanted to thank you too, Missy, for just allowing me to be a part. It's surreal.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I know, Paige, I know, I do, I know a lot of people, most of your listeners are in the Nashville area, and I thought, why is, this gal who's local, she's not tapping into the great talent that we have in our town. So I really appreciate you giving us a chance here to join your listenership here.
And, I said something about that earlier that I had thought about it, but the way of bringing it in was another thing. And like I was telling Connor, I said, we don't meet people by accident. We are put in a time and a place and a position to where we bring things together like this. And I said, when you came up with that, I said, well, I've been trying to figure out a way to bring in local musicians. I just think Athens, Georgia's town of musicians is awesome. I mean, we just have quite the array of musicians that come out of Athens, Georgia. I think it's awesome.
Absolutely, and Connor is a perfect example of that because truly, when we got started doing, what we do, really when I was kind of just surveying the landscape of the area, he was absolutely my first choice to go after from our very first project. So he is a great demonstration of just the gems that we have here in the city as far as our musical talent.
Missy, I want to ask you, now I know, was it the first time we did something with you, you came over to the villa and Greg and I sang, and then the next Christmas, Jacqueline and I sang, and then, of course, we did the great thing where we played
the Players of Fire.
Yeah. And how many projects have you had? Yeah. When did you start doing this to begin with?
We started in, actually it'll be coming up on 2 years this October. So we are about to start our 5th project. And that's going to be for Make-A-Wish. That will be this September. And that's going to be at the Foundry, September 24th is the concert for that. So look for info on that. And then, of course, we have the Players of the Lyre 2, which is this Halloween. It's our Halloween Legends show. Yeah. And Connor is going to be in that lineup as Elvis. All of our artists are actually, it's a really cool concept that Connor was involved with the last time. Players of the Lyre was where we had collaboration, where we had you and Jacqueline write a song for the American Cancer Society. We actually produced a record out of that, and that re-release of that record is August 22nd. But Connor's involved in our Players of the Lyre 2, which is Halloween. This year we're not doing collaboration, but we're doing the Legend Show. So all of our artists are going to be in costume. So you get to see Connor as Elvis, right? Have you got your costume yet? I need to know.
Yeah, it's funny you mention that.
Have you got your blue suede shoes?
Because I'm trying to, since we're talking about that. By the way, before talk about that, it was your idea about doing the collaboration was just wonderful because so many wonderful folks in town wrote songs together. They may not have written songs together. Like Jacqueline and I had written some stuff together, but that not like a really serious song, and the subject matter was obviously so serious.
Very heavy. Yeah.
As heavy as you can get. And to try to write a song like that, it was very challenging and wonderful, and it really brought, and I'm sure that the same was true with everyone else who did it, it really had to make you stretch as a songwriter to do that, because you just wouldn't normally write a song like that. And it meant so much to me and to Jacqueline to really come up with a song and get up and not only just record it, but get up and, no one else you hadn't sang that song in public yet. And to get up and sing a song that you've just written and put it across with that kind of subject matter just was very special for me and Jacqueline. I know everyone else who did it would say the same thing, and it was just on your part meant so much, and it's something I'll never forget that night. And as we said, every time you call on me, I'll be there to do it. Now, on a much lighter note, I'm already getting my Elvis thing together because I'm trying to figure out, as you know, I'm a bleach blonde, and I'm trying to figure out what to do with my hair. but I'm.
I'll come over and dye it for you, okay?
I've got to, either get a really excellent wig. I want it to look great. I want it to be perfect, and I'll be the best Elvis you ever could have. I promise you that.
I have no doubt. No, I have no doubt. That's why I asked you to please be Elvis. So I think you could take on pretty much any of our legends, and that's what the show's about. We're all doing the standard bearers of music. So the guys in the lineup are taking on our musical standard bearers from 1964 and before. So you've got Elvis, and just to mention a few, I think Elite the Showstoppers. I think he's going to be like Otis Redding. We've got.
That's going to be great. I didn't know that's going to be.
Oh yeah. Well, the neat concept is you guys are going to take a set in your set. So you're going to do a set of, you're going to cover the songs that people know, but you're also going to reinterpret it and make it your own. So, don't be surprised if you see them up there doing a little, try a little tenderness with a rap bridge in there, we just don't know. That's the exciting part is I never know what to expect from you guys when you get up on stage, but I like it like that. I know when you and Jacqueline were up there on the 40 watt and you did your song, and it was an upbeat song, even though it was heavy material. It was a very upbeat song, but it was a lovely, wonderful night, and I was so proud and honored, and it was a very neat feeling to see you guys, all that work, that I watched you do in the studio, and that I listened to you when you were talking about the song and things like that, and just to see it culminate in what it was and how you translated that to the audience, how they received it, and how you took it back. It was really very magical. So it was very nice.
It was for us. It was for us too. It was the whole thing. And when you interviewed us in the studio when you were recording it, do you remember us all wiping, putting lipstick all over each other? That was fun.
That was fun. Thank you for inviting me to participate.
Oh yes, I don't know if you've ever had that happen before during an interview, but
not.
That was but it Jacqueline and I got a big. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was just going to say I think that's in the can somewhere as far as the stuff that we haven't edited yet, so we may just put that out there. I don't know.
Well, I know I've got pictures of it, and I know it was being filmed. Because Jacqueline and I, it's a big thing we did, yes, but it's there, and I'm sure it'll come out at some point. But it was that was a great, that was so much fun that day.
It was. We had a lot of fun.
Now, will this be a live venue? Will this be a live show? Now, is that open to the public?
Yes. What we're talking about, the Players of the Lyre, that was something that was very heavy material, as Connor was saying. And when he and Jacqueline tackled that subject matter, they only had two rules, and that was, one, it had to be about cancer. They didn't necessarily have to write a song with the word cancer in the song lyrics, but it had to be, the subject matter had to be pertinent to the project for ACS, American Cancer Society. It couldn't be about surfing your wave or anything like that. It had to be pertinent to the subject matter. And then, of course, it had to be something that wasn't a cover. It had to be an original. So they had to come together and had to be all original. And that's what he and Jacqueline Stowe Thurman collaborated to do, and we had 9 other teams of 2. And so that material being kind of heavy, and Connor, that was when my best friend Shannon was in the fight for her life. She did lose last August. So we were all, a lot of the artists did meet her. Connor, you met her. She had come to quite a few of your shows with me, and so you knew her. And a lot of the artists did, and those who didn't got to know her through me and through the project. And so when she passed, I found that you guys really just stepped it up a notch. And it was like about a month later after she passed that we had the show at the 40 Watt. And I think that's why the night was so magical. And, it was obviously, while we're wishing she could have been there, I think she was probably with us in a different way. But, it was a little bit of a difficult night, but a wonderful night at the same time. And so this year we just decided to do a 180 for ACS. And like Connor said, it'd be lighthearted and fun, put it around Halloween, get these guys in costume, get Hunter Grayson doing Old Hank. He told me today he's working on his suit. He's working on his Old Hank suit.
Yeah, I've got a really flat the stops with this one. And I've got, let's see what, I'm no good with math. I don't know how long I got, 3 months or something, I think, to get it together.
Which in our world is tomorrow, right?
Yes, that's exactly right. And this, but I'm very excited. I'm honored that you asked me to do that. And it's going to be very,
it's going to be a lot. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be a very special night. And I am already thinking about it. And I already know what songs I'm going to do, and I'm going to...
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Oh, you have to tell me. Yeah. Not now, but later. Yeah, you have to tell me.
I'm glad you said that. I was about to start singing, but I'm going to keep it a surprise.
No. So. We've got to keep it a surprise. But you guys all come out Halloween night. That's, of course, October 31st, and that's going to be at the Foundry in Athens. So bring your friends. It's going to be kid-friendly. We're going to have candy. We're going to have a lot of maybe some superheroes in costume there. So, it's going to be for the family. It's going to be for the kids. It's going to be a fun night. It's going to be an awesome night of music, and you're really going to see these guys stretch creatively because a lot of times these guys, Connor, you can speak to this a lot better than I can, but you guys, everybody has their own thing that they do. Everybody can, you don't like to be boxed in, but a lot of people, their fan base identifies you with your own genre, whether it's rock and roll or, alternative or country or, whatever you name it. We have all genres in this lineup, and that's what we try to do on any Duckcloud project is we have a lineup that tries to include as much of an eclectic mix of genres as we can give you. So you want to come out and just see these guys really kind of try to really interpret some wonderful music that has lasted for generations, and I can't wait to see what these guys do with it. It's going to be amazing.
I was going to say, that's what struck me at the show, at the 40 Watt, was, first of all, everyone's song, and everybody did a different kind of thing, but it's so heartfelt. That's what it is. It goes beyond performing or, being... It makes you grow. That's what, like I said earlier about writing that song. It goes beyond just being a performer on stage. Everything they did was so heartfelt, and it's just a beautiful thing to see. It really is. The people really caring and not thinking about yourself, but thinking about other people, and it's great. And everyone comes through like that. And I know the thing, this benefit on Halloween is going to be terrific. And I can't wait. It's going to be great.
I cannot wait. It's going to be amazing. And Paige, just thank you again just for the platform to get the word out and to share what's coming up, not just with Athens, but I know you have a big listenership in Atlanta, too, our neighbors right next door. We also have a couple of Atlanta-based artists in our lineup, so we're excited for that they'll be coming over and holding hands with Athens, so that's nice. And, I just appreciate you giving us this opportunity to talk about some of our upcoming projects. And, again, Connor, I can never thank you enough just for being in my life. Thank you, buddy.
You are, we talked earlier about meeting people for a reason. There's no doubt in my mind, Misty, that you and I met. And I know everyone who meets you feels the exact same way. And I just, again, you call me anytime. I'll do anything on earth for you. I just love you to death.
That's a dangerous thing to say to me, my friend.
Well, you know I would.
I'll remember that.
Oh, listen, I'll tell you what. On that happy note, it's about 9 o'clock, and I'm going to have to say goodnight to both you lovely ladies, but I wanted to thank you for, Paige, for having me on your show. And Misty, I want to thank you. I want to thank you so much for, hooking me up with Paige and getting this whole thing together. It's been an honor. And I promise you I'm going to be listening every week. And I just want to say thank you to both of you.
Absolutely. Thank you, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
You're very welcome. So Paige, I love talking with you, and I hope we do it again sometime. And I just want to, again, just thank you so much. Thanks for your interest in my music.
You're quite welcome. And like I said, I'm excited because Misty gave us that chance to bring in our local musicians. And so it's surreal. I really appreciate it.
And, again, everybody come out on Halloween to the Foundry. It's going to be a fantastic show, and I can't wait. So I'll have my hair and my suit looking perfect, Misty, I promise you.
I promise it'll be very greasy and very jet black.
All right. You ladies have a great night. Okay.
Put up my list.
Bye.
All right, Connor. Thank you.
Okay. Love y'all. Okay.
Love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right.
Thank you, Paige.
Thank you so much. Now, I know we were going to finish out 30 minutes, but I know that there's quite a lot to say about, your on your end. So if you wanted to come back in, we can take a break and come back and finish out. What do you want to do?
Yeah, why don't you just take a break, play some of Connor's music if you got it, and then we'll come back in and wrap it up.
All right, that'll be fine. How about, he's not going to be here for this, but how about doing Zippity? I thought that was a fun song.
Yeah, I mean, all of his are, all of them are great.
Let's do that, and we'll come back, and then we'll finish out.
Zippity bibbity bibbity boppity zippity bibbity bibbity boppity zippity bibbity bibbity boppity zippity bibbity bibbity boppity zippity bibbity bibbity bop zippity bibbity bop zippity bibbity bibbity bop zippity bibbity bop zippity bibbity bibbity bop zippity bibbity bop zippity bibbity bibbity bop. It's Friday night and I must dance. I must put on my dancing pants. I must put on my dancing shoes because it's time to dance with you. Oh yes, it's time for us to rock. Just take a look at the rock clock. It says it's time to rock and roll. It says it's time to lose control. It says it's time to use those pawns. It's Friday night and I must dance. Zippity bippity bippity bop. Zippity bippity bop. Zippity bippity bippity bop. Zippity bippity bop. Zippity bippity bippity bop. Zippity bippity bop. Zippity bippity bippity bop. It's Friday night and I must drool. I drool each time I look at you. You drool when you see me too. Oh yes, I do believe you do. We are a pair of drooling fools. Do you mind if I drool on you? It's Friday. Friday night I must dance. Friday night I must dance. Friday dance Friday night. I must dance Friday night. Bibbidi 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 bobbidi.
Welcome back to the Paige Roberts Show. If you have been listening, we were talking to the Reverend Connter Tribble, the vocal for, the Reverend Connter Tribble and the Deacons. I have with me Misty Alfonso of Duckcloud Productions, and we have been talking about their benefits and the musicians here in Athens, Georgia. Misty, would you like to talk maybe more about your players?
Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you. Basically, when we the artists aren't really mine, of course. I don't. They really come on as volunteers. So what they do is when they sign on with Duckcloud, if they've ever worked with us, we just kind of give them that name that they're a player. I know in the rest of the world, a player sort of has a derogatory meaning behind it, but hopefully here in Athens, among the players, it's a good thing. It just means you've worked with Duckcloud and you've worked to help hurting people. And that's what Duckcloud is. We basically just marry the musical talents and efforts of the local musicians here to charity. And so what we do is, I think the difference between Duckcloud and what our template is versus maybe some of the other wonderful organizations out there who do similar work. And I kind of took mine from people out on the West Coast who are doing this. We basically just bring them together, not just to do a benefit concert or even to cut a record or anything like that. We try to, in the process of any of our projects, so, for example, we have the Make-A-Wish project coming up in September, and we have a lineup of local artists on that one. We have Carla Lefevre and the Rays. We have Jacqueline Steele Thurman, Joe Catt, Sarah Zanaga, Cortez Garza, Josh Perkins, Isaac Bramlett. We have the Red Clay Band, Liam Park and Tim O'Connell. Leet the Showstopper is on the one with Connter. That's for October, the Halloween show. That's Hunter Grayson is on that one. We're working with Blackner Ninja again, Michael Brandt. We have a lot of amazing artists that come and really it's sort of a nice thing to have happening right now is we have some local artists coming and asking to be on projects. The difference, though, between what Duckcloud does is we will actually try to integrate these artists, whoever they may be, into what the charity they're working for is actually doing on a day-to-day basis. So, for example, for the Make-A-Wish project, and Jaylee Welch, thank you to Jaylee Welch of Make-A-Wish, Georgia. Shout out to you for being such a wonderful help and being a great cheerleader for what we do. We are going to begin partnering each artist with certain elements of what Make-A-Wish does, whether that's attending a child's school, maybe a pep rally and doing a song, or perhaps if that child is hospitalized. You know, a lot of the people that we deal with are critical. And so we may have an artist go sing to them. We may have an artist write a song with someone whose wish it is to write a song. Perhaps that child may not be here in a year, and they want to leave something if it's their wish to have been a musician in any way. And so what we do is when we sit down with these artists, they're not just signing on for a concert that the Athens and Atlanta area may come to see them perform. Hopefully you'll become aware that these people have partnered with us to develop a relationship with whatever charity we're working for, so that after that benefit concert, we have helped them to lay a foundation with that particular charity, so that perhaps they will lend their talents and their efforts and their energy and their emotion and their heart to that particular charity going forward. So we like to think of ourselves as maybe a bridge between the music artist and the actual charity, so that they have actually, by the time our project culminates and it's finished, then these amazing local artists can look back and say, I met some wonderful people, like Connter was saying tonight. I met some wonderful people who maybe I helped make their pain just a little more bearable. Maybe my music helped them to see that at least today was a good day for them. And that is where the heart of Duckcloud is. It's not just to make these concerts and these concert dates. That's sort of the thing that kind of brings attention to what we do. But what we're trying to do is really develop a partnership and a catalyst, a platform, just a nice, safe place for these music artists who their heart is really to give back. It really is to reach out and to help people. They are amazing people. They really, really are. I think a lot of people think that musicians automatically have a huge ego because they like the stage and the stage lights and the mic and the applause and the signing of autographs. But that's a very little part of it once you get to know these people. Anytime we sign a new artist, and I say sign, that just means we have a little artist agreement, because a lot of times when you're working with Duckcloud, I have to look them in the eye, usually over a cup of coffee or something, and I'll say, you may be working with a kid you're going to get attached to. They may not be here in a year. Are you up for that? And, because it's a lot, it entails a lot more than just a concert date. And so I want people to know, I want the fans of these artists to know that when you come to see them at the culmination of our project, which is usually a benefit concert, I want you to be aware that they have actually with, whether it's Make-A-Wish or New Cheese Space or Soldier's Angel or Wounded Warrior or American Cancer Society, whatever it is, they have actually invested their time and their energy and their heart into what we do.
Well, like we were saying before, I do think it's awesome that this is what you're doing and what you're bringing in to Athens, Georgia, with musicians. And I wanted to thank you again for letting me be a part. And on that note, I know we have on schedule for Friday, August the 4th, is Cortez Garza at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. That's our next show. So for that one.
Yes, and I'd like for you to meet him over your show. He's a great guy. We've worked together on a few projects, and he's got a wonderful following all over the Southeast. So we're very happy to have him in our lineup too. And talk about big hearts. He's definitely one of them. He definitely has a heart for charity.
Now, you have that benefit. Now, do you have any other venues going on besides that?
Not right now. The Foundry is going to be hosting both of the upcoming venues. That's the venue that will be hosting both the Make-A-Wish Foundation, September 24th, that project, and then the project that Connter is on, the American Cancer Society, that's the Players of the Lyre 2, and that's our Halloween Legends show. Shout out to Troy Aubrey. He's been very, very good to Duckcloud, and I can't thank him enough for being so gracious with us and for supporting what we do and being he is an amazing, he's an amazing flag bearer for just the local talent in general. I mean, he really works just so amazingly hard, and he makes it look so effortless. Is what I was trying to say. He's really an amazing supporter of local music. So thank you, Troy, and the Foundry for being so good and such a wonderful supporter for Duckcloud and the local music artists. Go ahead. No, I was just going to say, we got amazing support in the town, and like I said, we were at 40 Watt last year, and thank you, Valena, for that, and for the amazing support we got there last year. One thing I want to say about Athens that I love, and I've known this just being a music fan since 19. I won't say, but it's been a long time. And I've been downtown, gosh, most of my life. And when Green Day was nobody and Driving and Crying was nobody, and it was just it's always been a fun time. But I can, I've always just kind of kept a watch out for the talent. That, not that I'm any kind of judge of talent, but for me, in my personal opinion, I don't think we've had this amount of talent in such a small, I call it the concrete jungle of Athens. It's just, you have such a concentrated, small area with these amazing venues that support our local musicians. And I cannot, in my opinion, just from having been there for so many years as just a fan, I don't think I've seen this much talent as we have now, like right now, today, in the last, like I said, years. But it's been a long time, and so it's for me, I think one of the things I was so excited about, probably about 5 years ago, and talking about Shannon again, as a matter of fact, we were at a show. I think we were at it may not have been that long ago because it was an Abbey Road live show. We were at a show, and we were just talking about the talent that was in our city right now, and I was saying how amazed I was about it. And after the show, we had kept the night going a little bit, and so we went out. And we were talking about how we grew up in the time of Quincy Jones and We Are the World, and Bob Geldof and Band Aid, and Hands Across America, and Willie Nelson and Farm Aid. And, that was my generation. That was, where you really started to see for the very first time really musicians harnessing their celebrity power and their name, and seeing that they could take what they do, and what they do very, very well, and attach it to a charity. And that made such an impression on me as a kid. I mean, it really did. It just stuck with me. And I was talking to Shannon about it one night after a concert, and she was really one of the people who kind of planted this seed for Duckcloud in my head, and just bouncing off that template for, that memory, and having grown up in that generation, being surrounded by that, and watching it kind of blossom for the first time on the musical radar of everybody's, musical consciousness. It was an amazing thing for me, and it really stuck with me. And I think that is part of why, you and Connor were talking earlier about, doing what you're supposed to be doing, whether it was paycheck or not. The paycheck is the joy that you feel and the peace that you feel when you lay your head on a pillow. So that was something that I really, connected with when you guys were talking about that, because that is something that is very true of myself and Duckcloud also. But, that's where it comes from. I think that's where the seed is just having grown up in that generation, but then trying to kind of see, well, okay, that's what it is on a global scale, right? Because that was, and we're still talking about it today, right? And just bringing that down to the micro level of Athens, and saying, well, what can we do here, because we've got so much talent here, and I would just love to be able to tap into that and see if we can help some people because, that part is very important to me personally. I think it is to most people. They just don't know where to start. They don't know where to start. So that's where it comes from.
Well, I know that, and I have a lot of artists or musicians on my shows, and I'm always putting Athens on a pedestal, and I'll invite. I'm saying Athens is full of music, and go downtown. On every corner there's some type of venue, some type of music, and go downtown like during the time UGA and UGA football and stuff like that. It's just surreal. So I think I lost Misty. I'll wait a few minutes and see if she calls back in. We'll talk a few minutes, but yes, we have quite a few musicians from Athens coming on the show, and we are lined up all week long through August, and I'm working on September shows as well. So we were talking about Cortez Barza was coming on. That's August the 4th, and Michael Brandt is Wednesday, August the 9th. Jacqueline Steele is August the 10th, which is Thursday. I don't know how to pronounce her name, Misty. I'm going to let you pronounce Sarah's last name. But she is on Friday, and that's August the 11th. And who else? We have Tim O'Connell, and that is August the 24th, which is a Thursday. And I think we have Joe Cat on August 31st, and that is a Thursday. So we are booked up all through August, and I am booking up through September. So anybody wants to be on this show, they need to go ahead and get in here and let me know, because we're going to be booked up. We get booked up quick. It's all good. I love being where I'm at, Misty, because like we were saying earlier, giving back is the name of the game, and I know this is where I'm supposed to be. So.
Absolutely. Thank you, and thank you so much for being good to the artists of Athens and just giving them an opportunity to get to know their fans. They have them not just in Athens, but they have them all over. So thanks for doing that on their behalf. Thank you.
Well, you're quite welcome, and anytime you need a spot, all you have to do is holler and ask. So.
You're the best. I appreciate it, gal. Thank you.
All right, so I think we'll go. I have like 3 or 4 different songs in here. I think I'll go out and play the rest of the songs that Connor has sent me. So
that'd be great. Thank you so much. And
well,
you guys come out to the Foundry, September 24th.
I sure will. I'm going to clear my list of where I can go. Oh, and I forgot we have Carla Lefevre coming on August the 17th. See, that's a Thursday. We'll go out, but we'll be right back here tomorrow night with our poet, Justice Clark. So that's it for tonight, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow night, and thank you again, Misty.
Thank you, Paige. Good night.
Good night. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you. Good night.
You know we come from Istanbul. Having fun is the only rule. Don't wear clothes, only a hat. All our women, they like us like that. You know we come from Istanbul. Having fun is the only rule. Sleep all day, we dance all night. Like the vampire, we hit the... I used to have a home, a wife and kids and a telephone. I grew so weary of the routine. It made me crazy, it made me scream. So now we live together, we dance and sing. We don't care whether you like us or not. We don't give a shit. We until we're tired of it. You lay, 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 you lay. You know we come from Istanbul, having fun is the only rule. We love our people, this ain't the greatest, the best part. You know, we run around naked. We come from Istanbul, having fun is the only rule. Sleep all day, we dance all night, like the vampire. We hate the light. You know we come from Istanbul, having fun is the only rule. Don't wear clothes, only Ahab. All our women, they like us like that. They like us like that. They like us like that, mama. Istanbul, oh Lord. Oh, I'll tango, oh, I'll tango. from Istanbul. Having fun is the only rule. Don't wear clothes, only a hat. All our women, they like us like that. You know we come from Istanbul. Having fun is the only rule. Sleep all day, we dance all night. Like the vampire, we hit the... I used to have a home, a wife and kids and a telephone. I grew so weary of the routine. It made me crazy, it made me scream. So now we live together, we dance and sing. We don't care whether you like us or not. We don't give a shit. We live this way until we're tired of it. You lay, 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 you lay. You know we come from Istanbul. Having fun is the only rule. We love our people, 'cause they're the greatest, the best part. You know, we run around naked. We come from Istanbul. Having fun is the only rule. Sleep all day, we dance all night. Like the vampire, we hate the light. You know we come from Istanbul. Having fun is the only rule. Don't wear clothes, only a hat. All our women, they like us like that. They like us like that. They like us like that, mama. Istanbul, oh Lord. Oh, I'll tango, oh, I'll tango.
We're playing tunes that make you grin. Our music's better than it's ever been. So think of us when you need a show. We're at WIRN Intercom Radio.